and welcome to New Earth Lifestyles. Jane E. King here, Christmas, December 18th, 2014. I brought my Santa bells with me rather than my singing bowl, my sacred singing bowl. So instead of gonging, I'll be ringing in the bells. So Merry Christmas early. One more week to Christmas. 7 more shopping days, or 6 more shopping days maybe, unless you're a really right into Christmas Day shopper. So welcome, New Earth Lifestyles. This is a show about new ways of looking at life, new ways of presenting things to you that you maybe don't see in your life normally, and giving you an opportunity to find ways to be healthy and happy and living your life in a happier, better way. New Earth Lifestyles. So thank you for joining us today. And of course, since today is coming up towards Christmas, we are talking about Christmas and things going on with Christmas. So I was thinking about all the words that I have associated with Christmas, like Santa Claus and Christmas tree and wreaths and things like that. So I was going to talk a little bit about some of those things. And also the big thing for me this time of year also is winter solstice, which is Sunday, December 21st, a few days before Christmas. So I'll also be talking about that today on the show, winter solstice, which is really the new year of the Earth cycles. The Earth has the longest day of the year, the shortest day of the year, and then the equinoxes, spring and fall, are the days of the year that are equal daylight and equal darkness, which I think I spoke about last week a little bit. But I'm going to get a little more deeper into that today as we're coming into that winter solstice. And then one of my viewers out there, one of you people out there, had called me about some of the cosmic activity or the things that are happening out in the cosmos, in the planetary realms and the comet. And he was asking me, I left a message a while back about the landing that happened on the comet back in November. And at the time, I was a little bit busy to really look into it. I know I did hear about that on the news, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today as well, because that is still kind of in the energy, in the ethers of this part of the year for us. So I'm glad that you're here. Jingle bells. I've got my real jingle bells. I had them cleaned. They came off of an antique, they're actually antique brass that I had cleaned and restrung on this piece of leather so that they don't fall apart and get lost. I actually wanted to talk too about the fact that I used to love to sleigh ride. I had a horse and I had a sleigh, and my sister and I used to go sleigh riding in the wintertime when there was snow on the ground. That was in southeastern Massachusetts where I grew up. And so this time of the year, we're coming into it, sleigh riding, and the Green Mountain Horse Association up in Woodstock, Vermont, South Woodstock actually, I think it's right on Route 106 in Vermont, they actually have sleigh rallies once a month throughout the winter, probably starting in January. I don't think they do it in December. They might, because of snow on the ground, so it depends on the snow. But my mom and dad actually went over there and went to a sleigh rally way back when my parents were still living, barely back in the 90s. Mid-90s, and I remember going over there and watching them, and it's so much fun to watch people actually sleighing. And not only do I have these sleigh bells, but I also was gifted a sleigh robe from my parents. My parents used to give me these, like, as I said last week, my parents used to give me these amazing things for Christmas, or different gifts, and I think the sleigh bells might have also been a gift that they gave me. And so those are the sounds of Christmas, right? We were talking about that last week as well, the sounds and the smells and the feel of the season. And sleigh bells certainly are, for me, a sound of the season, because that's what Santa Claus on his sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, they all have sleigh bells on their sleighs, right? And you can hear them if you really listen. I know when I was really little, well, actually I wasn't too little, I might have been 10 or 11, I remember my sister and I hearing Santa Claus on the roof. We all went to bed and we were supposed to go to sleep, but of course Christmas you can't sleep because you're just so anticipating getting up and having Santa have arrived and all your presents under the tree. And I remember this one Christmas, my sister and I were up, we couldn't sleep, and we thought we heard the sound of hooves on the roof. And so we got really scared because we're not supposed to see Santa Claus. So we went under the covers, and finally we did get to sleep. But that's one of the sounds of Christmas, is hearing the reindeer hooves on the roof of the house, because Santa comes down the chimney, right? and that's another thing I wanted to talk about that I was sort of checking in with today, is where does Santa Claus come from? Where does coming down the chimney and the sleigh and the reindeer, where does that come from? Have you ever thought about that? Well, I have. I have thought about that, and what I've come up with in my research is that Santa could have come. The whole concept of Santa Claus. Well, there was a real Saint Nicholas from over in Europe back. I think it was around 800 something A.D. So there was really a Saint Nicholas, which some people think is the origin of Santa Claus. However, before that, or actually it might even be happening still, in Siberia, which is the North Pole or the northern, what do they call it, the northern tundra of Russia, there are Siberian shaman. Oh my gosh, shaman, yes. So we're talking about shamanism again. They were Siberian shaman, and they would, at solstice, so they would celebrate the earth holiday of winter solstice when there's the most darkness and the least daylight, which is coming up on Sunday. But the Siberian shaman would collect all these special mushrooms, and they would leave them. Let me see. They would leave them, or I think that he would give them to the people in the village. Everyone would get a certain amount of them, and they would what they would do with these fresh mushrooms that were just picked. They would put them in their stocking and hang them. Hang them where? By the fire to dry overnight. Wow, well, doesn't that sound like hanging up your stocking before Santa Claus comes, so that Santa can stuff your stockings with gifts? And so that could be where the stuffing of the stocking came from, when the shaman would leave these mushrooms that he just picked, that he would pass out to the village, and they would put them in a stocking and tack them up, as I said, by the fire so that they could dry and they can then be used the next day. And the reason they needed to dry them, because they were a special kind of mushroom that had special magical powers, I guess. And so they did this ceremony on the winter solstice, and everybody needed a mushroom or a bunch of mushrooms, and they did something with them for the winter solstice ceremony, and that's why they hung them up to dry the night before. Now, sometimes when he was delivering these mushrooms, there was so much snow against the doorway of the yurts or of the living quarters of where he was delivering them, he would go down the chimney to deliver them. Well, there you go. Maybe that's where Santa Claus going down the chimney came from the Shaman of Siberia, delivering these sacred mushrooms, preparing the village for winter solstice. And then there's also the idea of reindeer and flying through the air in the sleigh, right? So Santa Claus has a sleigh, and the reindeer miraculously can deliver all the Christmas presents in one night to everyone in the world, everyone all around the globe in one night. And so that takes some pretty magical powers, doesn't it? And the shaman of Siberia were reindeer herders, and so they lived very intimately with the reindeer herd. And it has been said that these reindeer, they're a lot smaller than elk. They did have an ability to fly. They did have an ability. Now, this is a legend. They had an ability to fly, and so that was how the shaman were able to deliver all of the mushrooms that they were delivering the night before winter solstice to all of the homes of the village, because he would take them by reindeer in the sleigh. So there you have it. There's one version of the origins of how Santa Claus's activities on Christmas Eve came about. That's one thought. There are many other thoughts, I'm sure, but I thought that was pretty cool, being that I'm into shamanism myself. I practice shamanism in my healing studio, and I make drums, and it makes a lot of sense to me that an old custom from an ancient tradition gets passed down and becomes, lo and behold, a current modern day Western culture tradition. what else do we have at Christmas time? So that's Santa Claus coming down the chimney and delivering and filling up the stockings. So there's a couple places, a couple things that traditions that we have that could have come from the Siberian shaman who do this activity at the winter solstice. And I think I did mention last week that some people have said that Jesus Christ was really born in April, but they celebrate it on December 25th. And part of the reason they do that is to sort of coincide with the winter solstice, to sort of bring those traditions of, because the winter solstice is the new year for the earth, and that was really the biggest holiday of the year for people who, indigenous cultures who really lived by the earth cycles. And so bringing the birth of Jesus closer to that biggest holiday of the pagan people of the indigenous cultures made sense a long time ago, I believe. So that's why I believe it was moved to December 25th. And so a lot of these traditions that we have come from those ancient indigenous cultures. And another one of those traditions that we have is a Christmas tree. Right, and that reminds me, I need to get some greens before I go home today. I forgot to do that when I was stopping it for other things. So, Christmas tree, greens, the greens of a Christmas tree. That also comes from the Yule, celebrating the Yule, which is, again, the equinox is also considered the Yule tide, the Yule time, and the Yule tide log. And eggnog is another thing that we do at Christmas time. I'm not really sure where eggnog comes from, but I really never developed a taste for it, but that's another Christmas activity that we do, is we drink eggnog for some reason. My mother used to always have it on hand for company when they came, but I never really, I never got the gist of eggs and milk, whatever eggnog is made out of. I don't really even know. So, talking about the greens and the Christmas tree and the wreath that you put on your door, well, that's a round, usually a traditional wreath is round, and the circle, the never-ending circle of life, that's a symbol, isn't it, of the circle of life, no beginning and no end, a round wreath with a green wreath with a red bow, with a bow on it, and again, that is connecting into the earth, bringing sacred earth objects into the celebration of the holiday. And I really am not sure of the whole symbolism of the wreath even today on the doors, other than the circle and just being a traditional symbol of the season of Christmas and also the season of the Yuletide and winter solstice. So we have wreaths and, oh yeah, mistletoe. I don't know where mistletoe came from, but I think that's a pretty interesting thing to look up and try and figure out why we put mistletoe up on the ceiling, and when we go underneath we kiss each other. Mistletoe is, that's a funny one too, that could have come from the shaman, of course, also from Siberia. It's pretty cold up there, so I'm sure that they had, every time they had a reason to get close to another person, they would do it. So mistletoe might be the way to do it. There's a jingle on that one. Stockings and exchanging gifts. Well, giving the gift of the mushrooms, that's what the shamans did, giving the mushrooms to the people. It's the gift giving and the getting everyone prepared for the celebration of the winter solstice. And Christmas carols. Well, songs and chants, those are pretty important, aren't they? I mean, if you look at all into indigenous cultures, into the back millennia, for thousands of years, chanting or singing and drumming, those were activities that were very, very active all the time during celebration of holidays or celebration of whatever they were celebrating. And so carols, I don't know where the first Christmas carols came from, to tell you the truth, but since this is a live call-in show today, Thursday, December 18th, if you have any thoughts on Christmas or a favorite Christmas carol that you'd like to call in and let me know what it is, I'd love to hear from you today. Or a favorite gift, or what you like to give for Christmas, or maybe you don't even celebrate Christmas. Maybe you want to talk about what this season is about for you, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or some other, or the Yule tide, the pagan Yule tide, Yule time. Please do give me a call. That's 413-0223 if you'd like to call in right now. I'd love to hear from you, hear what you have to say about this time of the year, the season that we are in right now. We're really immersed in it, and the pinnacle of it will be next Thursday, a week from today, on Christmas Day, or for some of us next Sunday, this coming Sunday rather, December 21st, which is equinox. So right in the next week, we're right in the middle of all this energy of the newness of life. The newness of life. And elves, Santa Claus and elves, that was another thing that I thought of, is thinking about how did we come up with that concept of, well, Santa Claus had to have help making all those gifts that he had to give out all around the world, so having elves to do it and all these helpers in his workshop certainly does make sense, doesn't it? Santa Claus and his elves. And then Mrs. Claus keeping him happy with her hot chocolate and hot cocoa and all that stuff. Mistletoe and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I guess that probably came back in the 40s or something when they started singing the Christmas carols, writing more Christmas carols when we started having recordings. I don't remember where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer originated. So if you know, I would love to hear about it. I'd love to hear from you. Where did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer originate? I'm thinking it might have been Gene Autry, to tell you the truth. I think it was one of those singing cowboys from the beginning of TV times. Actually, during radio, it might have even been. So, all these things are the old memories of Christmas. Very interesting. On my Facebook page today, my friend Dorothy Morgan had written about the astrology coming up for this winter solstice. This winter solstice coming up on December 21st, this Sunday, is actually a new moon. A new moon. It's not a full moon, a new moon, which means there's no moon. It's going to be dark. There'll be no light up in the sky, the new moon. And new moons for me are very, very powerful. I believe I was born on a new moon, which means there was no moon, which means it's like a new beginning. It means a clean slate, nothing's there. So as you move as the moon starts coming out, the light starts coming, and so the new moon is like a new beginning. So then things start to emerge again, so you can start making plans or creating goals for yourself during the new moon. And then after the moon starts getting bigger and bigger, those goals will come into fruition as the light comes into being in the sky. So I wanted to read a little bit of this because it made a lot of sense. And since this is New Earth Lifestyles talking about new things, new ways of looking at life that maybe you don't look at if you don't celebrate Christmas, or if Christmas is just not a holiday that you resonate with or want to spend time thinking about this year. Some people, the kids grow up and they don't want to get into Christmas anymore. So this is about the new moon, December 21st, is in Capricorn and during the Yuletide and winter solstice. So it's an active day in the solar system. And this is another thing that my friend that called me wanted to know about, is more stuff about the solar system. And so the moon will take a trine aspect to Jupiter, and this is a fire trine. So a trine is kind of three, a trine is three different, or an angle. I'm not really sure what a trine is, but I'll just talk about what's important in this reading about December 21st coming up on Sunday. So Jupiter is a fire. This trine that's happening is a fire trine, which means we have a lot of energy to burn. So we, being human beings, have a lot of energy to burn. So you might feel that coming up into the holiday, an increase in your energy. You have a lot of energy to burn while the moon is still in her waning phase. So the moon is kind of waning, which means right now it's going into darkness. Waning means it's going into the new moon. Waxing means it's going into the full moon. So right now the moon is still waning and a lot of energy to burn. Pardon me. I think I'm going to have a little swig of water. Pardon me for one moment. Thank you. So, a lot of energy to burn. That'll be good because I need energy to burn. I'm always needing energy. I feel like I never have enough of that. So that's good to hear, isn't it? And so we should take advantage of this, take advantage of all this energy to burn and spend some time being present. Spend some time being present here now. Present meaning here and now. Releasing what no longer serves you and completing any old projects. Well, we would like to complete the projects moving up to Christmas, wouldn't we? And once we complete those, then we can release them. So releasing any other old projects. So think back at what old projects might you have that haven't been completed yet. This would be a good time to complete them, because then when the moon is new on Sunday and starts growing again into fullness, those old projects will be complete and behind you, and you will have more energy. And so we are at the end of many cycles today. So please be aware of what you are trying to bring in that is new. What are you trying to bring in that is new? What am I trying to bring in that is new in the new year? Well, I'm trying to bring in a healthier body. I joined the gym and I'm working out and I'm swimming, and so every day I either swim or I work out. So that's something new. I'm bringing in a new body. I'm trying to get my body in a new, stronger, slimmer, more energy. And so what are you trying to bring in that is new? What else are you trying to bring in that is new? I'm trying to bring in more drum making workshops. I'm trying to bring in more clients all the time. So what are you trying to bring in that is new? Think about it for a minute. This is a good time to think about it. And so this is because until pardon me, the sun, moon, and Uranus change signs or move in the direction direction. So until those three things change sign or move, we should not be doing anything new. So right now we're completing things. So don't do anything new yet, but we're completing things right in this day, today, moving into the 21st. So 18th to the 21st. So we need to hold off just a little bit. So Uranus changes direction today at 5:45 p.m. after being retrograde since July. Now the energy of this electric planet will be moving forward once again, encouraging us to be independent. So when Uranus moves forward at 5:45 today, it will be encouraging us to be more independent. Well, that's a nice thing, isn't it? I could use more independence too. To take chances where we feel we need more freedom in our lives. Ooh, take chances. And some people will take this energy and change much in their lives, and other people will be more sporadic about their changes. So, whatever's right for you, sporadic or steady in your changes. Either way is fine. So either way, now that Uranus is direct, we have lots of motivation for the changes we want to see in the world. And we do want to see changes in the world, don't we? We always want more peace. We always want more freedom. We always want more light. We always want more calmness, more peace. So either now that Uranus is direct, we have lots of motivation for the changes we want to see in the world, and it will take a few weeks before we really notice anything, but just know that things have turned again. So just know, just realize and let it go. Just know that things have turned again. And so see your life in a different direction, perhaps. See your life in a new light, a new way, and hold on to the fact that things are changing into a new direction, which is the direction that you want to go in. Can you hold on to that? Can you hold on to knowing that, and don't let anything else get in the way of those thoughts? And that's really the key, isn't it? Don't let any of those doubts or negative thoughts or judgments come in and push away what you're holding on to now. The new energy, the new goals, the new things that are coming in. So tonight at 6 o'clock, the sun enters Capricorn, and the winter begins in the northern hemisphere. I guess we're talking about Sunday, so not talking about today. I'm sorry about that. So 8:25 p.m. On the 21st, or really 6:03 on the 21st, the sun enters Capricorn and winter begins in the northern hemisphere. The birth of the sun in pagan times was celebrated on the 21st because the sun will now start to climb above the equator in the northern hemisphere, which is where we are. We're in the northern hemisphere of the Earth here. And so after December 21st, the sun starts to rise above the equator. So I'm not going to go into that. So the birth of the sun in the pagan times was celebrated because the sun will now start to climb above the equator. Within a few short weeks, we'll be seeing the difference in the duration of the light, because a few minutes a day, and then in a few weeks we'll really start to see that the light is coming back. But that's what winter solstice is celebrating, the coming back of the light, the fact that the sun is moving up from the equator up and making longer days for us here in the northern hemisphere. And if we look at that from a metaphysical point of view, which is what we look at here on New Earth Lifestyles, metaphysics, it is the time of year to start new growth or plant new seeds. New growth and plant new seeds. So, and that's what we do at the new year, isn't it? We make New Year's resolutions. But what this is talking about is the heavens, the sun and the moon and the earth and Uranus and the planets are lined up right now, as of Sunday, so moving into the winter solstice, the day of winter solstice, which is Sunday. All the heavens are lined up to support us in any changes that we want to start making in our lives. And there's a fire burning by the way the planets are lined up. It should give us energy to start moving into the direction that we're looking for those changes to occur, giving us more energy. So pay attention to that and keep focused on that. So plant new seeds, and lots of times people pull, I do feather readings, so rather than reading tarot or reading different kind of cards, I read feathers. And many times people will pull or choose, I guess I should say, they'll choose a crow feather. And if you've ever seen a crow, you know it's black. And so a crow feather too is all black. And many times that crow feather will tell me that that person has a lot of seeds, because the blackness of the feather indicates darkness or no light. But it's not a bad thing. It's a fact, the matter of the seeds germinating in the darkness of the soil where there is no light. And so planting your seeds, they are planted somewhere where there's no light. And so many times when people see a crow feather, if you see a crow feather, you might even think about that. Wow, I do have a lot of seeds that are planted, and just give them time to germinate. Don't rush it. And so starting new growth. What is some new growth that you would like to see in your life? A new thing. Those things that you've been putting off. I know for me, I'm always afraid to tell people what I'm starting, because I feel like I'm never going to finish it. So if I don't tell anybody about it, no one knows I didn't finish it. But this is not a good thing. What would be a good thing is to tell people about it and let people know that this is the new thing you're going to be starting, and this is how it's going to be, how you're going to step into that. And so. So think about the new growth and planting new seeds. And once they're planted, let them germinate as long as they need to. You may have to water them, of course, but so every now and then you can pay attention, but not all the time. And then the moon will also be entering Capricorn, and so we engage our practical side where needed. And the moon will be at a place indicating that it will be a great night to manifest the things that have meaning for us. So that is Sunday night. We're talking about the 21st. Sunday night is a great night to manifest the things that have meaning for us. So that's another part of what the winter solstice ceremony is all about. It's actually planting those ideas or planting those seeds in a ceremonial way, and either speaking it out loud or speaking it to yourself. And on Sunday, I actually will be having a solstice ceremony at my studio in New London at 1 o'clock. And that's one of the things we will be doing is we'll be expressing our desires for the new year and for the next step in our lives. So this is great to actually read that it's in the stars. It's kind of written. So this is from Dorothy Morgan, again, the astrologer that's been on my show a couple of times. And this is what she's written about winter solstice coming up, just to review where I'm getting this information from. And so so it's a rare occurrence to have a new moon on the solstice. Well, let's jingle to that. Ooh, It's a rare occasion to have the new moon on the solstice, and I've never known that. I've always thought of the full moon being on the solstice. So this is a rare occasion happening on Sunday. And so it's a time to gather around with those you love. So Sunday night is a good time to just gather around with your family, with your friends, with people that you care about, and just feel the energies of that, the new moon and the winter solstice happening on the same day, the same time. So no matter what your religion, just simply enjoy each other's company. Talk about things that only come up once a year, and then take some private time to set new goals for yourself. Setting new goals for yourself. Capricorn, which is the sun sign, Capricorn, rules our security, the foundations of our lives, the responsibilities we take on, reaching and setting goals one step at a time. It's about managing your time, our management skills, and the authority figures in our lives, which could include ourselves if we are self-employed or a supervisor. And I think we all try and manage our own lives, so it probably does include ourselves. So digging in a little deeper, it also represents our future needs, which include better use of our time, making grounded choices, not emotional choices. Grounded choices, not emotional choices. So what does that mean? Making grounded choices means listen to your heart, not your head. And bring your head and heart together before you make choices. So here are some examples of that. I easily find myself using my time in a more efficient way. That's a little mantra if you want. Here's another one. I am easily able to step out of emotional choices so I can see the practical use in the choices I am making. I'm going to read that one again. I am easily able to step out of emotional choices so I can see the practical use in the choices I am making. You might want to write that one down. Here's another one. So these are suggestions for making how you could do a little ceremony with yourself for making better choices. I easily say no to the offers that come my way if it does not match my current goals or needs. Now that's a big one because I have a hard time saying no. I don't know about you. No is not a good word in my vocabulary. For some reason, some people are really good at saying no. I am not. I am not. So there's a good mantra for me to pick up and learn. I easily say no to the offers that come my way if it does not match my current goals or needs. And that tells you that in order to be able to say no, you need to know what your goals and needs are, right? You need to know where you're headed and what you really need. And how many of us really do that? And so having those written down somewhere would be a good thing for you to start doing, is writing down your goals. Like, where do you want to be at the end of 2015? Or where do you want to be in March 2015? Or where do you want to be by June 2015? So those are some of the things you can think about for where you want to be. How do you want to be? Do you want to still be living here? Do you want this job? Do you want more happiness? Do you want more joy, more money, more something, more friends? Some things to think about as the year ends and we're coming into the new year. And December 21st is the new year, as I said, for the Earth. Capricorn rules responsibility, which includes self-discipline. Responsibility includes self-discipline. And that is a hard one for me because I let other people rule my life lots of times. And so whenever someone calls and needs something, I'll get up and do it rather than taking care of my own goals and needs. So I need to discipline myself on staying on track with what I really need and want, while at the same time being available when I have time. Here's another one. Keeping commitments. Being competent in our public image. I'm not sure about that one. Okay, here's some wishes or goals. I easily find myself keeping the commitments I choose to make. I easily stay focused on the project at hand. That can be a hard one. Easily staying focused on the project at hand. I know I start doing a project and I get waylaid. Oops, I see something else needs doing. I see something else. So that's a good one. Just stay focused on the project at hand. I'm feeling unsure about something. I easily recognize this. I'm sorry, let me start over. If I am feeling unsure about something, I easily recognize this and get the education or information I need to be completely competent. That's a good one. But the key there is recognizing that you're not, that you need something, right? That's my key for me anyway, is recognizing um, what I need, so that I know that I need to get more information or educate myself about it. So defining our goals is a large part of using the energy in the new moon Capricorn, or Capricorn new moon rather. So defining our goals, that's what we're talking about here, defining our goals. And so the new moon in Capricorn is also the solstice in Capricorn. Defining our goals, using the energy of the Capricorn new moon means looking at your ambitions, defining your goals, using or seeing opportunities when they come up for you. Our profession and career, working hard toward our goals, working hard toward your goals. Maybe you should be playing hard toward your goals, because I really believe that life should be enjoyable. And if you have goals, those goals should be making your life more happy, and not working toward goals that are going to make your life more difficult. So looking at what are you wanting to create in your life, and are they aligned to your joy, your happiness, and your love? Making your life an easy way to live, making life easier for you or more enjoyable for you. So being sure that when you're setting those goals, that's my criteria anyway. I mean, I don't want to go out and create something that I'm going to have to, drudge myself, push myself to do all the time. I want to be happy doing it. I want to look forward to doing whatever my goals are. And so that's what I would really encourage you to look at as we're starting to look at the end of the year, is what makes you happy. Who are you wanting to be in 2015? How can you get there? And how can you make that getting there enjoyable and happy? So another opportunity, or another affirmation you may say to yourself is, I allow new opportunities into my life and the ability to recognize them as such. That is a good one. Allowing new opportunities into your life. That is a really good one, because what that's doing is it's opening up the gamut of the universe knowing what you want and presenting you with those opportunities, and then recognizing them is the key, right? Recognizing that, oh, that is what I asked for. That's kind of what happened. I think I talked about this last week too, was my landlord knocked on my door. Maybe I didn't, but my landlord knocked on my door, and she presented me with a plant. And at the time, I didn't really think I wanted a plant, but when I saw that it was a jade plant, I realized I had asked for that in an indirect way. And so I said, thank you, yes, I'll give that plant a new home, because I remembered in the moment that, oh yeah, I did ask for a jade plant in an indirect way. And so that was an opportunity that took me a little bit to recognize that I'd asked for, but I did, and so there you go. And that's a small thing, but it's also a big thing. And what's big about it is recognizing that, and then saying thank you to the universe for giving you what you've asked for, and really feeling grateful for that, which I did, and I still do. So every time I water that plant, I think about the gratitude I have for that plant being in my apartment, in my life. And that reinforces the opportunities to come, more opportunities like that to come, more things to come that I've asked the universe to bring to my life. And so then recognizing those opportunities is also the key. And that's what Dorothy's saying here. I can easily see how organization and hard work pay off for my success. There are some times when we do have to work toward our organizing things together, like keeping all the bills in the right drawer, and organizing like these things in a certain way so that you can have access to them easier later, and so you'll appreciate having gone through those organizing things. So that is a good one. Or if you have something going on with your father or your boss or something, you can say something like this, because you certainly want to work on relationships in this new year, bringing some new relationships, or bringing healing to relationships, like father relationships, or mother, or brother or sister, or even ex-husbands or wives. I mean, those are important relationships to have good connections with, not necessarily every day or all the time, but when there's a need to connect, that connection is clear and good and happy, and there's no anger or no negative or low vibration feelings there. So here she's giving some examples of how to bring up some affirmations to improve your relationships with authority figures, say, for the first of all. And here's one that says, I easily am able to follow traditional routes to the top of my company. That's if you're working with a boss, if you want to make it up to the top of your company. She's saying, I easily am able to follow traditional routes to the top of my company if you're working up the ladder. That's a good one. Or, I allow communication with my father to increase in a healing and good way. And there you can insert your mother, your sister, your brother, your spouse, however. I'll say that one again. I allow communication with my father to increase in a healing and good way. So these are all affirmations that Dorothy Morgan, the astrologer, you can go to nhastrologer.com to probably get this list written down if you're looking for that. I just brought this off of my Facebook page because she had posted it up on Facebook this morning, and it was right in line with what I wanted to talk about today. And so here's another one. I easily see where I can help my boss in a way that benefits both of us. Wow. I easily see where I can help my boss in a way that benefits both of us. Or you can insert my father or my mother. I easily see where I can help my sister in a way that benefits both of us. And that's a really great affirmation, don't you think, to start off the new year with, to start off on the right foot. And lastly, we'll look at some of the shadow side of energy of Capricorn. A lack of joy, fear of success, fear of doing something new, inflexibility, and being pessimistic. So if you need to work on any of these things and find yourself in fear, afraid to try something new, then there's a good chance you have some planets in Capricorn in your chart. That you probably have some planets in Capricorn if this is difficult for you. So there you have it. There's some good things to start off the new year with, working through beginning on Sunday, which is the winter solstice, and this is a solstice where the new moon is in Capricorn, and so that's all the Capricorn energy that we just spoke about. And if you wanted to, as I said, you want to look into this a little more closely, and if you want to get any more information from Dorothy, I was just reading that from Dorothy Morgan's astrology Sunday information about December 21st coming up. You can go to her website, New Hampshire, nhastrologer.com. That's Dorothy Morgan. You could probably Google her as well. And some great information talking about winter solstice. Yay, Dorothy. Santa Claus is coming to town in 6 more days. Santa Claus, red. Believe it or not, Santa Claus used to be green, although they say that the Siberian shaman that I was talking about earlier in the show did dress in red with white fluffy stuff, but in the Western world there were green Santa Clauses as well, or in blue Santa Clauses, and all different color Santa Clauses. But early in the 1900s, when Coca-Cola became a soft drink company, they wanted to promote Coca-Cola, and they wanted to make it synonymous with Christmas, with giving, with spending money. And so they really promoted the red of Coca-Cola and the red of Santa Claus being the same red. And I think you'll find that if you look at those two colors of red, they will be pretty much the same. And that was a marketing technique, and that's why most Santa Clauses now are red. So I think that's about it for Christmas. We have a little bit of time left, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the landing on the comet. Because one of my, as I said earlier, one of you out there, one of my viewers or our viewers, was talking about that, wanted to know more about that landing on the comet. And so I did look that up, and this was called Rosetta Comet Landing Mission, the Rosetta Comet Landing Mission. Now that comet, I think it was sent out, that Rosetta Comet Landing Mission, I think it took off around 2005, and it was what do you call it? It took off in Europe from the European Space Agency, in around 2005. So it made it out all the way out to that comet. Comet's called 67P, and it has a big Russian name. Must have been discovered by a Russian. But that Rosetta Comet landing mission started in 2005. It took off from somewhere in Europe, from the European Space Agency, and in November, around was it November 6th or 7th, somewhere around there, it actually landed on the comet, and that was in the news briefly. And I went in and looked it up again, and so there's this thing called a Philae landing lander that went from the Rosetta landing mission main capsule and went down and actually landed on the comet. Now, my understanding is that Philae, Phalae, I guess I'm going to call it Philae, lander is going to now remain, I believe, on the comet. And the comet is in an orbit that is going to get closer and closer to the sun. And so at some point that lander that is now anchored on the comet, I guess, will just stop working. But it's very interesting that they could send something so far out, and it actually landed on this comet that is not that big. I didn't get the size of the comet, but it is 316 million miles from us. That comet is 316 million miles from Earth, and the transmission, the signals that come from that landing module that are on the comet, take 29 minutes to travel, which is it's pretty fast, actually. I think it's 316 million miles away. It takes 29 minutes. Yeah, Santa's here. Oh, my goodness. Ho, ho, ho. Santa's here. Well, we have to break the news right now. Here comes Santa Claus. He's got his own jingle bells. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's Santa. Come right in, Santa Claus. Have a seat.
How are you doing?
I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Well,
Come right
I get
in.
a hug.
Oh, it's a hug time. Santa Claus is here. Whoa. All righty then. And you've got your own jingle bells. That's great. So, the big day's coming soon.
It certainly is. That's why I just wanted to stop in to say hi.
All right. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
You came all the way from the North Pole?
Yes, yeah. I'm down here in Manchester.
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, looking for the naughty and good list.
The naughty and good list.
Yeah.
Naughty and nice list.
Yeah,
you
nice,
mean.
yes.
Yeah, naughty and nice. So, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And do you have Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen upstairs on the roof somewhere?
Yep, they're sitting up there.
Waiting?
Yeah, I saw the parking meter. I hope they aren't going to make me pay for parking.
I hope not.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't, because you probably take up more than one space, don't you?
Oh, I do. I take up about 3, 4. Yeah, I got quite a run of them. And,
yeah. Pretty cool. So you're checking out the ropes here and...
Yes, getting ready for the 24th. And
the 24th.
Yeah, I'll be back.
You will be back.
Yeah, I'm just scoping it out before the weekend.
Scoping it out, okay.
Yeah.
And how's Mrs. Claus doing?
Very well, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably couldn't do it without her.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And how about those elves? Do you have a lot of elves this year?
Oh, yes. Matter of fact, we hired a bunch more. Yeah, we had to bring extra because the nice list has grown.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
We got a bells for that! The nice list has grown.
Oh,
That's
has.
what we want to hear, right?
There's a lot of people out there doing good.
Excellent.
Yeah, and that makes me feel good.
It must. It must really do your heart
it does.
strong, good to know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're on that list.
Me?
Yes.
Yoo-hoo! You're on the list! Woo! Santa's going to bring what I want. No coal in my stocking this year.
No, none this year.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So you've been doing good?
I have been doing good. Yeah. Everything's going well in my life. I'm happy.
Yeah, good.
Happy and strong.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want.
Yeah. So you got a lot of mail up there in the North Pole?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the post office is making deliveries more than every day.
Wow.
Twice a day, 3 times sometimes.
Cool. You must be a speed reader.
Yes, we go right through. And the kids are learning to use those smartphones now.
Yeah, the texting thing.
Yeah.
So you got a texter? Did they actually text to you too?
They do. Yeah, I got a Facebook page, so kids are...
Santa has a Facebook page.
Oh,
My
yes.
goodness, I'm behind the times. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look you up on Facebook
Yes,
now.
yeah. Look us up and
All right.
just let us know how you're doing.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful. So you're going to make some stops today to sort of check out other places, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, is just going around making stops, see how
Okay.
things are going. And,
Great.
the weather looks like it's going to be good.
Yay! Weather's going to be good
Yeah.
for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so I'm real happy with that because, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Even
Smooth
though,
sailing.
with Rudolph with his nose, that's a big help.
How does that go all the time? And Brutus, his red nose is always blinking out
Yeah.
there, blinking in the front
Well,
of
it
the sleigh.
used to be 500 watts.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bright red. And now we're down to LEDs. So, I love those LEDs. They run a lot cheaper,
they're
and
cheaper?
he's happy because he doesn't have to, get so much energy to make it bright.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So he used to energize it. He was the energizer.
Oh, he was.
reindeer.
Yeah, because of his nose. Yeah, I couldn't have came a couple times because of, without him.
You what?
I couldn't have come here.
Oh, you couldn't without him.
Yeah, when we get bad weather.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have that blinking nose up front.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's a little nervous because I did hear there was good weather, so he did come and see me, and he says, "Well, I'm still the lead, aren't I?" And I said, "Oh, yes."
Oh,
yes,
because
you will."
you need the red nose for when it's bad weather, but
Well, that's it. And I figured if the kids look outside and if they see that blinking red light up in the sky,
yeah, they
they
better
know
go get to bed.
That's it. They know to hurry up and get right to bed.
That's what I was just talking about at the beginning of the show. When I was little, my sister and I heard Rudolph up on the roof one time. We had to
Yes.
get under the covers quick because you're not supposed to see Santa Claus.
No, I don't have time.
No.
I would love to.
Right.
But-
And you must eat a lot of cookies and milk.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because I think we all leave you with a lot of cookies and
Yeah,
milk.
well, that's where this comes from. So after January, I'll slim down some. Hopefully.
Pop an iron for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah,
cool. Wow,
yeah.
this is such a treat having you sitting here with me, Santa Claus.
Well, I'm glad to come in and visit and say hi and tell everybody Merry Christmas and you
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I hope next year it looks like it's going to be a good year for everybody.
Yeah, good. I think so. I think it's going to be better than
Yeah.
this year. Every year's been better and better. We're
Yeah.
moving forward in the right way.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. But now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of little ones sitting on your lap also?
Oh, yeah, this time of year.
Telling you what they want?
Yeah.
I mean, they do all kinds of things. It's amazing how you can get around so much.
Yeah. And what I like is the children, I mean, when they want just simple stuff.
Yeah, like what's a simple thing they've been asking
Well,
for
they
this
just
year?
want their family happy or make sure they have plenty of food. And, it's sad to see kids worrying about that, but some do.
About?
About food and to
Right.
make sure that their family's taken care of.
Right, right.
Especially the older children, you see that. They start caring and they say, I just want our family to be happy.
Right. Well, that's nice. So they're
Yeah.
getting a little responsibility and
Yeah.
not worrying about the next gadget, but really what's more important in life is what the family, the
Yes.
family unit and the love and the care that
Yeah.
that's, everybody else can have.
And that's what I try to push.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And you do a good job on the show.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
try hard.
Yeah.
We like to have fun here. This is a fun show. I think life should be fun, enjoyable all the time.
It should.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my goal. How people see other points of view, other ways of looking at life.
Yes. Yep. I always say just, you got to live life as much as you can today.
Right. Live life to the fullest. And that's what
Yes.
you're doing, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I've had the dream job. I mean,
Dream job.
Who wouldn't want to be Santa? I mean, I've just been so lucky.
Giving out gifts all day long.
Yeah. Very, I walk down the street and everybody's always happy to see me and
Yeah.
waving.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. What better job is that? A better way of thing to do in your life than have people love you and smile at you and
Yeah.
just want to hug you and shake your hand and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Well,
But no, like I said, I just wanted to stop and say hi and.
well, thank you. It's so
thank
kind
you
of
for
you.
having me on the show. and-
You're welcome. We'll give Santa a nice little shake of the bells.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! Merry
All right.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and Merry
Okay,
Christmas.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll see you later.
See you later. Whoa, Santa Claus on the show. Woohoo! I must be on the nice list. Santa came to visit. So, what a way to end the day, huh? With the man in red. The man in red and white with a big white beard stopping by. and I'm going to get what I want for Christmas. And I don't need my 2 front teeth anymore. I still got them. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. Thank you for being with us today, and have a Merry Christmas. Well, I think you have one more show between now and Christmas, so yeah, all is well. So remember, your heart knows the way. Until next time.